Good morning again, Fargo. My name is Tony Gehrig, Fargo City Commissioner, and this will be the August 14th edition of How I Voted, the recap of that meeting, Fargo City Commission meeting. We have about 5 things on the agenda that were kind of bigger issues, so I'll get right to it, trying to be too long. The F5 project, which many of us know is kind of like a halfway house for folks in our community, getting out of jail, and you have to go somewhere. And lots of times, this is the in-between for them, getting a job, getting back in the community. It's a privately funded thing. Currently, there are no laws that say that these halfway houses have to tell us where they are as a city. They do need permits, though, if you're going to have a certain amount of people living that aren't related in a house, which this obviously would do. Unfortunately, the F5 project didn't grab those permits that were required. So what we've asked, or what we're doing now, is to have that process start. Dave Pepcorn brought this issue forward. He was upset that it was not done properly to begin with, and he had a point. We have a process, a permit process. We have permits in place for a reason, and they weren't followed. But what I would like to see is that this project continue. They get the proper permits, and then we support that from there. This is a requirement in our community. We have folks that go to jail, come out, and we want them to be productive members of society. We have people who are on drugs that are trying to get off of drugs, and they need a way for that to happen. It doesn't just happen by itself. So I think we need to not ignore that we have major issues in our city in this regard, and projects like the F5 project do help. So I support it. I'm hoping they get the permits. If they don't, then we'll have a different discussion. Let's see, Downtown Improvement District. I don't often regret a vote that I took, but I'll be honest, I regret this one. I was under the assumption that what happens is a downtown partnership, they ask us to assess them, right? So $400,000, they use that money to hire folks to clean up the streets, to wear the yellow vests and be ambassadors for downtown. They do a lot of things with this money. And I'm fine if you wanted to have yourself assessed by the city, and then you spend that money. Well, that doesn't really hurt us. That's part of the reasons why we have assessments. But what I wasn't clear on at the time was that there's also in-kind spending that the city does that's not assessed. So I was under the assumption that all this was paid for by the downtown. In reality, about $65,000 comes out of the general, which is everybody else, to help pay for this project. If I was more clear in that point, I would have voted no. If you want to pay for it yourself as a downtown, great. But I don't want parts of South Fargo or way North Fargo who are competing with downtown for business, have to pay for their improvements. So that's where I'm at on that. I don't often regret it, but I will fess up when I do, which it does happen, I suppose. So I would have voted no. It was a 5-0 vote. It did pass. Not that my no vote would have mattered anyway, but I should have voted the right way. So developers agreement with the Block 9 project. The biggest thing about this is it's been delayed for months. And we haven't been given a real clear answer as to why. Later today, I have a meeting with the Kilborn Group and their general manager, and we'll talk about what those delays mean, why they've been going on, and how we fix the problem. Our incentives that are attached to this are not just an open door that you get to walk through whenever you feel like it. We as a city are on the hook for $30 million plus. Not that I approve of that, but we are. And as the project gets delayed and delayed and delayed, in general, things don't get less expensive, they get more expensive. And if the project changes at all, then it changes our math as to how much the city's on the hook for, which is why I don't like getting into these things in the first place. It's not our position to do that. It's not our job to do that. It's not the role of local government to do that. But we're here. We are here. So we need a reason as to why this has been delayed and delayed. This project should already have been started, and the development agreement hasn't even been signed yet. So it could be a year late. Who knows? I just don't know that answer. So I'll get those answers today when I meet with Mike Almendinger of the Kilborn Group, and hopefully at the next meeting we'll have more information. The vote was really not necessary. All it was concurring that we need to get a developers agreement, which we've already done. But it was a 4-1 vote. Dave voted against it, and I respect that vote. And the reason I didn't vote against it is because I want to hear them out. I want to have them come to the city commission, publicly explain what's going on. And at that point, if I don't like what they're saying, then I'll vote no against it. But I feel like I shouldn't have voted no, and I don't know the answers. I don't know what's all going on. So I want to give them the opportunity to come in front of us and speak. And if I don't like what they're saying at that point, and I think this has been delayed for no reason, then I'll vote no against it at that point. So we'll see what happens there. The biggest thing that happened at this meeting probably was the preliminary budget was voted on. It's overall a good budget. I am happy with the bones of it. I think we can do better. This budget is only going up about 0.7%, which is a very low amount. I think we had the opportunity to actually cut and reduce the budget, and I've given ways to how we can do that. COLAs, for example, cost of living increase for our employees. These things I think do need to happen. However, we're proposing a 2% across the board increase for all employees. I think that's a flawed way to look at things. Bruce Grubb, our city administrator, the top employee in Fargo, makes a lot of money. If we don't give him a 2% increase, he's not going anywhere. The whole point of a COLA, in my opinion, is to keep the good employees on the payroll, to keep them here in the city of Fargo, so we have to retrain new people in. So who do we lose the most in the city of Fargo? Do we lose the guy who's been here for 15 years, the gal who's been here for 20? No, we lose the people who have been here between 1 and 5 years. That's the highest turnover that we have. So we have to go through and retrain all those people over and over again because we don't pay them very much. So why not, in my opinion, give a 3% increase at the bottom, give a 1% increase in the middle, and give a 0% increase at the top? The top directors and all those people that make over $100,000 a year, they're not going anywhere. They got a good job in Fargo. The people in the middle that are making between, $60 and $80 or $90,000, they're in general not going anywhere. They're moving up in their careers, and if we give them a 1% increase, that's more than what most people get. The people at the bottom are the ones that are leaving at high rates. Give them a 3% increase. And if we do that, we actually spend less money on the COLA by about $300,000, and we would focus on what we're trying to do, which is actually keep people in Fargo, keep our employees working for us in Fargo. So I think it's a much better plan. If we do the 2% across the board, it's $1.4 million. If you do my plan, it's about $1 million increase. So I think it's a much better way to do that. And by the way, if we cut that, we can reduce property taxes by $300,000, which is great. There's other things in the budget. That was just one example. Other things in the budget that I'm looking at here that we can do to lower property. I want to see another mill being taken out of property taxes. I don't want to see an increase to your water, your sewer bill, utility bill in general, which is being proposed. I am the liaison to the utilities in Fargo. It's not required for us to do this. We make plenty of money. And oh, by the way, we are selling water to West Fargo, selling sewer to West Fargo, selling sewer service to Horace. We are a regional force as far as these things go. We're making a lot of money doing it. So we do not need to raise your rates at this point, but that's what's being proposed. So look into the budget a little bit. I will try to hold a public town hall type of meeting, I guess, if people have questions. I'll make sure the word gets out on that. And we'll talk about some of the issues that I have with the budget, some of the ways I want to reduce it. And quite frankly, I think we could have got a negative budget. I think we could have gone down in how much we're spending. But as it sits, we're going up about 0.7%, which is much better than we've been doing over the past couple of years. So hopefully some of these things get fixed. If they do, I'll vote for it. If it stays exactly the same as it sits right now, I don't think that I can support it. So give me a call, tell me what you think. That was the last issue for the August 14th Fargo City Commission meeting. You can call me on the city phone. You can email me, and you can come talk to me on Facebook as well. Go see my page, Tony Gehrig, Fargo City Commissioner, and always watch how your city commissioners are spending your tax dollars. Thank you.